Come here now, little one. No, not over my knee tonight. Come sit on me. Your position on me when we talk about the dark emotions. That's it. Swing one leg over. Straddle my lap. Open your knees. That's it. Your knees either side of my thighs. Your chest towards my chest. Good girl. A cheek tucked under my chin. There we go. Let your weight settle. My strong arms around your back. My hand resting at the base of your spine, holding you into me, keeping you right here where I want you. So, you can't run away from what you feel, but also you don't have to carry it alone. I have you. So, settle now into the mold of your master. Wriggle your submission into my dominance and prepare yourself. Give over yourself and breathe for me. In, slowly. In, the desire and acceptance to be taught and trained. And hold that breath in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. Breathe out all the other world out there and its demands and control of you. All out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good girl. Good girl. Now one more time. Breathe in your need for ownership and feel that breath sprinkle you inside from head to toe. And deep sigh out all the last breath of all the bad frequencies of him and her and them and the others. Good girl. That's it. Settle in for the next lesson. You see, tonight is not about fear or shame, humiliation, even obedience or ownership. Tonight is about guilt. That heavy little ghost that sits behind your ribs whenever you enjoy something just a little too much. The invisible hand on your throat and whispers into your ear, "You haven't deserved this. You don't deserve this. Someone, somewhere, is paying for what you are doing." You know that feeling, don't you? The way pleasure and punishment got welded together in your nervous system. So even when you're here with me, your master, safe and wanted and owned, you still wait for the bill to arrive. And that is what I will teach you tonight. Guilt isn't proof you're bad. Guilt is proof you care. It's a crooked signal from a mind that was trained too harshly about being good. So we're going to untangle it. You, held on my lap like this. Me, with my voice in your ear. And we'll start by mapping exactly what guilt feels like inside you. There are 5 levels of guilt pain. And as I talk you through these, I want you to quietly notice which one feels like home. No judgment, just awareness. What do you feel your guilt pain setting is? Let's start with level 1, the little pinch. This is the smallest one, like someone flicking your feelings with a fingertip. You're fine mostly, you're even smiling. Maybe you're reading my message under the table secretly during dinner, or replaying our last call while you should be eating with the family or friends. And there it is. A tiny twinge in your chest, a brief tightening around the heart, a little voice saying, I should be concentrating. I shouldn't be thinking about him now. Your shoulders rise for half a second, maybe. Your jaw clenches, then releases. You breathe out a small, guilty sigh and carry on. You still enjoy the fantasy, but you tuck it behind your teeth, behind your eyelids. That's level 1 feeling of guilt. Barely a bruise on your conscience, just a little pinch to remind you that somewhere, somehow, you've been taught that desire is a distraction and distraction is wrong. But right now, as you sit on me, notice if there's a little level 1 pinch anywhere within you. That little, I shouldn't need this so much. Just notice and let your breathing soften around it. Okay. Mold it into me, breathing around that little feeling. Now, level 2, the ache behind your smile. Now it's a little heavier. You've had a beautiful evening with me, your daddy and master. You came alive under my words, under my instructions, under my approval. And then, the next morning, you're making breakfast, packing lunches, logging into work. And there it is. A dull ache in your chest, like a bruise nobody can see. You're functioning. You're polite. You're doing what you're meant to do. But underneath, your mind keeps muttering. I ignored that message from my friend. I didn't answer that email. I left him, her, the others at home while I turned my phone face down and lost myself in another world with my master and daddy. You feel slightly undeserving of kindness from your real-world people that day. Someone compliments you and you shrug it off. Maybe you pour extra into everyone else to make up for the private, secret joy you stole for yourself with me. That's a level 2 feeling of guilt. You're not falling apart. You're just quietly punishing yourself for trusting me with a part of you that your good girl persona doesn't yet understand. Right now, notice if there's a level 2 ache hiding behind your own pretty little smile. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to fully understand it. Just let me hold it with you. Okay? Stay with me. Good girl. And now, we go up the scale to the third level of feeling guilt, the stone in your stomach. This one's harder to carry. You said you would never cross a certain line. Not with me, not with anyone. Maybe it was a boundary, a promise you made to yourself, or a vow that belongs to another life. Marriage, motherhood, faith, family expectations. And then there was that night. You were not drunk. You were not forced. You were simply honest with your body, with your mind, with your soul, with your needs. And now, when you think about it, your stomach turns to stone. You can't quite swallow properly. Food doesn't sit right. Your thoughts keep circling. Anxiety in the pit of your belly. What did I do? What does this make me? If anyone knew. And you look at the people who trust you, and your skin prickles with the sensation of wearing stolen clothes, a stolen identity, a false world. That's level 3 guilty feelings. You're still functioning, but the guilt has weight now. It drags behind your ribs, and it steals colour from your joy. If any part of you feels like that, like you've swallowed a stone you can't digest, just notice it, baby girl, while I hold you. Breathe in gently and exhale as if you're breathing around that stone, giving it space instead of fighting it. And there's some very, very heavy answers coming soon too, that will make that stone feel like a shiny little pretty tiny pebble. Now we come to level 4, towards the top of the guilt pain scale. The tornado hurricane storm of self-accusation. Here, guilt stops being only one feeling and becomes a voice. It shouts, it screams, it bellows, it yelps. It wants your full attention. Your full attention to be twisted into panic mode. It lists your crimes. It drags old mistakes out of cupboards and lines them all up like evidence. You lie awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, and your mind does this to you. You're a liar. You're unfaithful. You're selfish. You're not the mother, daughter, partner, friend they think you are. Your chest is tight and your heart races. Your hands feel shaky for no reason. Maybe you scroll your phone to distract yourself. Then you feel guilty for that too. You consider ending all of this with one decision: cutting me off, burning it down, choosing punishment in the real world over pleasure. Because somewhere in your wiring, you believe suffering is more moral than joy. That's level 4. It's level 4 that's twisted, not your behavior. It's not just screaming at you, "I did something wrong." It's screaming, "I am something wrong." But baby girl, if any of you feels like that tonight, I want you to hear me very clearly, my darling. That voice, screaming for twisted attention, it's not the whole truth. It's a scared, overtrained guard dog in your head, not the judge of your soul. So, sit with that thought for a moment, but let my voice be louder for a while. Let me, your master, be the one to tame the overtrained guard dog in your head. Now, the peak of guilt pain is level 5, the collapse. This is the one you don't show anyone. The moment where guilt feels not like a feeling, but like a final verdict. You sit on the bathroom floor, or in your parked up car, or on the edge of your bed, and you feel numb and nauseous at the same time. Your head is buzzing and your heart is pounding, and yet it's like you're drowning underwater. You might cry, or you might not. You might shake or freeze perfectly still. You replay every mistake, every want, every secret thought of disobedience, every moment where you physically pleasured yourself at your behavior. And you think, I shouldn't exist like this, wanting this, doing this. I don't deserve any good thing. Some people call that moral injury. Some call it self-loathing. I call it way too heavy for a baby girl to handle. Nothing for a little one like you to carry on your own. If you've ever been at this level, level 5, I want you to know this. You are not beyond repair. You are not the sum of your worst choices. You are a woman who feels deeply, who cares deeply, who has been taught a language of guilt instead of a language of need, a language of belonging, a language of deserved ownership. And my job as your daddy and master, while you sit here on my lap, is to translate that language. Translate and change the scale of the way you feel. Okay? Now, breathe for me, baby girl. Breathe in. Hold it there, relaxed, and breathe out. And breathe in deeply now the calm of Daddy, deep into your little body and soul. Hold it there and let Daddy and your master whirl all around your head down to your toes. And breathe it out, sigh it out, and feel you are where you belong. And just quietly ask yourself, where am I living most of the time on that scale? Level 1, level 2, level 3, 4 or 5? Just think. There's no punishment for the answer. No information, just awareness. Because now, baby girl, I'm going to walk you through 10 ways that guilt stalks your life, and how I intend to reclaim each one from you and erase forever the scale of guilt, pain. Okay? Good girl. That's it. Stay tight to Daddy. The 10 guilt confessions of a submissive heart are not specific to you, my little one, and you should never feel you are the only one who suffers them. That world outside created these to hold us down from being our true selves. Their needs for submission and dominance are a budget shop version of the depth of our connection. So, settle in. Let me guide you through 10 ways they try, but we delete their feeble attempts to make you feel guilty. Let me show you why Daddy is the antidote to their pathetic virus. Firstly, because you feel guilty when pleasure comes too easily. You were raised on effort. Work hard. Earn it. Prove it. Justify your existence by productivity, service, and sacrifice. So, when you sit here and my voice makes your shoulders drop, your thighs soften within seconds, some ancient part of you panics. I didn't work for this, I just showed up. That can't be right. You feel like you've cheated, like you skipped the queue and cut ahead of better, more deserving people. So you try to compensate. You overdo chores, you overgive to friends, you over-apologize for needing this break and respite and fantasy moment. You even overthink your own orgasms, as if you must justify them. But listen to me. Pleasure is not a prize. It's not a wage you earn for suffering correctly. It's a human need. It's a soul's need. It's a little baby girl's divine right to be smothered in princess glitter, as real as sleep, as valid as food. The fact that my words drop you into your body so fast doesn't mean you've stolen anything from anyone. It means you are finally receiving at the speed your nervous system and your soul always needed. So when that guilt flares, wondering if this is too easy, let it be your cue to whisper, "This is allowed. Daddy says this is allowed." And breathe. And enjoy every little drop of glitter that a princess deserves. So now, number 2 on the chart of guilt. That you should be guilty because you think you're betraying someone. How do we justify this one, baby girl? Especially in a world that is so self-righteous, you know? Self-righteous when it suits itself. Do what I say, not what I do. But nevertheless, because you're a good girl, deep down in your soul and heart, you look at your partner, maybe your children, your friends, your family, your colleagues, and you feel like a perfect imposter. They see dependable, they see kind, they see responsible. They never see you sat half naked on a daddy's lap in your mind, feeling your heart belong to a man they've never met, knowing your bare bum is exposed for his dominance. They don't see that side of you, do they? And guilt hisses, "You're unfaithful, you're a traitor. You're giving a secret part of yourself to someone outside your real life." Well, baby, here's what I want you to hear. You're not betraying them by being honest with yourself. What betrays everyone is the version of you that never breathes, never feels, never rests, never admits she needs holding. She needs owning. She needs attention. She needs to be heard. She needs what they can't give. The world benefits when you're more whole, not when you're more suppressed. You and I, in this space, are not destroying your life. We are preventing you from quietly shattering inside it. You can love them and still need this. Your guilt, remember, was bred into you by those who were just repeating a breeding of themselves. They assumed it was best, but it was probably invented by a grunting caveman before fire or the wheel was invented. That guilt promotes that loyalty means disappearance, that loyalty means there's always a cost, and it's mostly you who picks up the bill. But I am teaching you that loyalty can mean truth instead. Freedom. You know what I mean, baby girl? That's it. Shake your head. Yes, Daddy. I understand. Give me a little smile. And let me remind you on point number 2. Because I know the way your mind works. It's not an excuse to behave like a little monkey, is it now? Daddy said this, Daddy said that. I'm just teaching you how to remove the feeling of guilt. Because remember, if you do behave like a cheeky little naughty monkey, you will get Daddy's hand over that bare little bum. Now, number 3 is a very interesting one. You feel guilty for not being sick enough. That's a curious one. Some part of you whispers, other people have real trauma, real abuse, real horror. Who am I to need this level of care, this level of attention, this kind of daddy? So, maybe you belittle your own pain, you downplay your own exhaustion, you compare scars with ghosts you've invented in your head, and you decide yours are not bad enough. And guilt then in this instant shows up as an accusation. You're so dramatic, you're indulgent, you're making too much fuss over nothing. You are using daddy as an excuse. Listen to me, baby girl. There is no minimum damage requirement for needing comfort. You don't have to bleed more to qualify for bandages. You don't need some horrific backstory to justify wanting a place where you can sit on a lap and let someone else think for you for an hour. You are allowed to be tired without being destroyed. You are allowed to want softness without a catastrophe to prove it. You are allowed to want to be owned, submissive, to give yourself, to be trained, to be educated, to be disciplined, to be spanked, to be slippered, to have the belt slap across your bare bum cheeks. You are allowed all of that for no reason at all. Your guilt is not humility. It's just an old script from caveman times that says you must be on fire before you're allowed to ask for water. I reject that for you. You're allowed here exactly as you are. You want this? You don't need a reason. You come, you submit, and you get a whole universe of whatever you want. And I know you still have trouble with that concept too, having whatever you want when you want, which is number 4 on the chart. You are guilty because you cross your own lines and break your own rules. You set rules for yourself, hard ones, especially with daddy. I'll only text him this much. I won't call late at night. Once a week I'll listen to his voice. I won't send that picture. I'll never say I'm his. And then reality arrives. I say your name in that tone. I give you a task with a little growl in my voice. I tell you what I want to hear or see. And suddenly, your rules melt. You do it. You go further. You hand me more of yourself than you planned. The pleasure, the relief, the correctness of it. It all feels so overwhelming. But afterwards, guilt swarms. I betrayed myself. I have no self-control. I'm weak. I can't be trusted with my own boundaries. But here's what I say. Your rules were written from fear, not from truth. Some of them were just little barricades you built against your own desire. And yes, you will have real boundaries, real limits, real safe words. Those I will honor ruthlessly. But this, I'll never need him this much rules. Those were never honest. You didn't break rules, you discovered yourself. Guilt will scream when you move from self-denial into self-acceptance. Let it scream, and let me decide what really needs to be contained and what is finally meant to be released from you. And this merges into number 5 on the chart. You feel guilty because you choose this over your good girl duties. You close the laptop instead of answering one more email. You ask the kids to watch a film so you can make a call. You leave a sink of dishes because you're shaking too much from needing my voice to care about plates. And guilt says, lazy, irresponsible, selfish. What kind of woman chooses her own desire over her duties? This is a very boring guilt, a productivity guilt. It's the internal supervisor who never lets you clock off. The job's worth. You were turned into a machine and then punished every time you tried to be human. But listen, baby girl, this guilt is easy to be dismissed and deleted. We can't pour from an empty bottle, and you cannot show up in your life if you never once allow yourself to be the one who gets held and energized, who has the relief valve on full in a safe place, and the soul refueled by the master of your engine. This time on my lap, with my words in your ear, is not a moral failure, it's maintenance. You are allowed to stop being the caretaker long enough to be cared for. If your guilt complains that the dishwasher is still full while you're trembling under my praise, tell it this: Daddy said I need this. And breathe. Good girl. Dirty panties before dirty dishes. I just made that up. It wasn't scripted. It's not very psychological. But it's what we do. Daddy and his little princess. It's what we do. And actually that does link us into number 6. The guilt that you feel because you were taught pleasure requires punishment. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just the craziest thing that goes round and round and round in this world? Under the guise of yin and yang. There's a deeper program running in you. Every good thing must be paid for with something bad. If you had a blissful day, you wait for disaster. If you feel deeply desired, you expect rejection. And likewise, when Daddy makes you feel adored, cherished, claimed, your guilt starts calculating the cost. Someone's going to suffer from this. Maybe me, maybe them, maybe later, but the universe will balance the books. So, this kind of guilt almost allows you to invite punishment. You push me, you test me, you break little rules. Not because you're bratty, but because guilt is trying to manufacture a consequence so you can relax. If you've paid for it, then maybe you can enjoy it. I see that. So, we can make a new agreement. Discipline with me is not repayment. It's not a moral tax. When my hand lands on your bare bum, It's not the universe getting even. It is instruction, focus, ritual, intensity, connection. You do not owe pain for every piece of pleasure. You owe presence. That's all, baby girl. And you do need to understand this, because otherwise it just flows into number 7, into one big overwhelming feeling that you need to be guilty because your past is a trial with no end date, and you don't want your presence and your future to be part of that trial. These are things behind you that maybe still feel unfinished. People you hurt and never apologized to. People who hurt you and never apologized at all. Decisions you made from survival that you now judge from safety. Guilt keeps dragging you into that fake courtroom. Guilt tries forcing you to relive every sentence, every misstep, every moment you wish you'd known better. So, when you're here with me, part of you whispers, I shouldn't get this now, not after that, not with that history. But understand this, the past is not a ledger that must be balanced because you're allowed to feel good. We can hold regret as information. We can make amends, set new standards, choose differently. But depriving yourself of comfort now does not heal what happened then. Punishing yourself forever does not resurrect anyone, does not undo any harm, does not make you holier. It simply keeps you exhausted and less able to do better. When guilt drags you backward, I will keep calling you forward, into my arms, over my lap, bent over against the wall, into this moment where we're actually free and alive. But I do know, because you're a sensitive soul, that number 8 is a concern. That you worry guilt is the only thing keeping you good. It's a quiet terror. You secretly suspect that if you stop feeling guilty, you would become a monster. That if you weren't constantly second-guessing yourself, you'd explode every boundary, hurt everyone, do everything you ever fantasized about, without care. So, maybe you cling to guilt like a guardrail. If I stop hating myself, won't I become dangerous? No, baby girl. Guilt is not your conscience. It's the anxiety around your conscience. The proof is simple. You're here, agonizing over doing the right thing, over not wanting to hurt people, over managing 2 worlds without destroying either. Monsters don't do that. Your heart is not dangerous. Your heart is just crowded with everyone else's rules. And the very reason for these lessons is teaching you the difference between I hold myself to a standard because I value kindness, and I torture myself with guilt because I was taught I am fundamentally wrong. You do not need self-hatred to be a good girl. You just need self-awareness and somewhere safe to put your hunger, to handle your fantasies, and to raise and fan your flame. That's what your daddy and master is here for. And guilt doesn't just stay in the past. Number 9 takes guilt into the future, because you think the future is ruined as punishment for what you're doing. It time travels, guilt does. You imagine the moment your phone gets found, your messages get seen, and your secret world collapses. You imagine losing everything: home, family, respect. Not because it has happened, but because guilt wants a story where you get what you deserve. So every bit of joy now is shadowed by catastrophe later. You walk into beautiful moments already rehearsing how they will be taken away. But understand this, baby girl. Hypervigilance is not prophecy. It is a side effect of guilt and anxiety trying to control chaos by pre-suffering all possible outcomes. When your mind sprints ahead like that, I want you to come back here, to the feeling of my hand there at the small of your back, my chest under your cheek, my voice saying, right now in this moment, you are safe. Right now, you are allowed. Right now, you are mine. Your future does not earn the present. The present stands on its own. And think about this right now, as we are right now. This moment we're sharing now so secretly and intimately with the deepest of connection. This moment was once the future, wasn't it? But now you are here, in the moment, owned and held. So, you know the future is a happy moment, don't you? Because we are there right now, aren't we, little one? And we're going to conclude now with number 10, the deepest form of guilt, so ingrained that you use guilt as currency. Not just you, everybody does it, baby girl. So you don't even have to feel guilty about these guilty feelings. Somewhere along the way, you learned that if you feel bad enough, for long enough, and intensely enough, that you can cancel out your sins. That if you drown yourself in guilt after pleasure, then maybe you're allowed to seek that pleasure again. You turn guilt into payment. Enjoy, punish, enjoy, punish, round and round and round and round. And on some level, you are relieved when you're suffering, because then you can say, see, I'm not really selfish. Look how much I torment myself. I've paid for this. Baby, 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 enough now. Hurting yourself emotionally doesn't make you purer. It makes you smaller. You are not required to offer me guilt as tribute. I did not claim you to watch you wince every time you feel good. I claimed you to watch you open, to see you breathe deeper, not shallower, to see you stand more fully in yourself, not shrink. Your guilt can step down from priest and judge. With me, it becomes just another feeling we notice, understand, and then set gently aside so we can actually live. Now, close your eyes. Let your forehead rest against my neck now. That was a very, very long, deep lesson for those little baby girl ears. Let your arms go around me and just hang there. Just floppy, like a child who finally trusts she doesn't have to hold herself up. And breathe. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let some of that weight you've been carrying for years slide off your shoulders and into my hands. You do not have to prove you're sorry for being alive, for wanting, for needing, for coming here. You don't have to fix it all tonight. You don't even have to understand it tonight. You just have to let yourself feel and let yourself be held while you do. Guilt will still whisper sometimes. That's okay. When it does, I want you to remember this. There is no safer place to bring your guilty heart than to the man who refuses to condemn you for anything. You're not on trial here. You're in training. You're not under judgment. You're under my care. So relax and sleep now, baby girl, if you need to. You can let your eyes close, slow your thoughts, and let the last thing you feel be my arms around you. My voice, soft but certain, telling you, instructing you. You are allowed to do whatever feels right for you. And I will help you do that. Because you're mine. Okay. Good girl. I'll be right here when you wake. Good girl. And don't forget I love you.